What's good? It's Coach Mark, and I want to talk to you about. I was working with a client today. We have a couple of clients in our VIP program, and they come in for some personal training, some customized training, customized nutrition. However, one person has been really having some nagging issues with her ankle. The problem was she had her ankle fused several years ago, and so the problem is as she begins to move, this range of motion, basically her ankle doesn't flex, and so it affects all of her movements. It begins to affect her hip, her low back, her shoulders, and quite frankly, it's uncomfortable, and she's unsure of how she should work out. So I wanted to make a little video for you, share some answers that I shared with her so that maybe you can be successful in the gym. So now I'm making this workout. I know I'm in my waiting room, but we have a class going on. I didn't want to interrupt all those fine folk, but maybe this can help you out. So here's a few things. Let me adjust this a little bit. Now, what I'm going to entitle this is How to Get Strong When You're Not Strong. There's a few things that we can really work out. Now, I have a dumbbell. That was my coffee. Here we go. We've got a dumbbell here. Now, this, being my shoulder, is not the same as her ankle, okay? So it's going to be slightly different, but the concepts are going to be still the same. When you're not strong, part of the issue is the weights that you lift in the gym are intimidating. And typically, to get stronger, you say to yourself, okay, well, if I'm going to get stronger, I need to lift more weight. But what happens if you can't lift more weight? Maybe you've got instability in one of your joints. Maybe your shoulder hurts, past a certain weight. Or maybe you're just not confident. You're worried about dropping it. There's a whole host of things. How do you get strong when you're not strong? Let's get going. I'm going to use this as a movement, all right? We're going to practice the overhead press. I've got one dumbbell, and we're going to press it overhead. Few things that we can begin with are, number one, instead of beginning with two arms, what we can do is we can focus simply on a single arm movement during our lifts. So bench press, shoulder press, bicep curls, lunges. These are all single limb movement, unilateral movements. When you shift from a bilateral, okay, using both sides of your body, this could be a squat, deadlift, press, bench press, all that stuff, where you've got to use two arms, right, to press overhead. A lot of the times you are masking some imbalances from the left to the right in your body. When you move to one arm at a time, okay, now you can emphasize the parts of your body which are weaker so you can get them stronger. And number two, because you can't lift as much weight, you are doing less damage to your joints and your ligaments and all that. You're allowing your body to respond well to the stimulus, but then recover the following day. Make sense? So when you don't want to feel super beat up, however, you want it to feel challenging, shift to single arm movement. This is really easy to do. So instead of 10 bench press reps, what you're going to do is you're going to do 10 on one arm and then 10 on the other. Same thing, but obviously different stimulus. Second thing that we're going to do is we're going to add in a tempo. So let's say that my VIP client is very weak, 15 pounds, or I've got a 10-pound weight here. 10 pounds is not heavy, but she doesn't feel confident going up in a weight. She doesn't, maybe her technique's not good, confidence isn't there, consistency isn't there. So what do? We add tempo. We add time under tension. And so what that looks like is any of the movements that we have consist of a point where we're at the bottom of the movement. We lift, which is the concentric, okay? We hold at the top. This is the isometric at the top. And then we lower the dumbbell. This is the eccentric, okay? we can control how much time we're doing all of these things. So instead of just racing to press the dumbbell overhead, what we can do is we can say, hey, listen, I'm going to spend time going methodically through all all parts of this movement, and then I'm going to, over 10 reps, now spend something like 40 to 50 to 60 seconds doing the set instead of my normal 12. So now all of a sudden lifting this 10-pound dumbbell, right, very quickly, and then banging out, 10 reps. Now all of a sudden if we go 2 seconds on the way up, 1, 2, we hold, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, so now when we add this tempo in, all of a sudden this 10-pound weight feels several orders greater or heavier than it normally does. That's an easy way to, again, give you some stimulus without beating up your joints, beating up your muscles. And then what you can do is on a weekly basis, instead of adding weight, you can add time. I will say as a small kind of addendum to that is most people spend a lot more time on the eccentric. This is always the lowering. So when you're doing a pull-up, that's always lowering yourself down. When you're on a bench press, that's always lowering the bar to your chest. Bicep, it's always lowering the eccentric, or the lengthening of the muscle. So the concentric, many times people go very fast and then they take longer on the eccentric. That's for multiple reasons, and maybe I'll get to that in a different video. The last thing that we can do where we can't lift more weight, but we need to make a movement more challenging and create some progressive overload, could be we add a pause. Now this is similar to adding a tempo, but what we're doing is we're just really focusing on the one part of the movement. So this could be in the middle of the movement. So what we could be doing is we could be doing a press, and instead of just going up, pause, down, pause, what we can do is we can go up, we can pause halfway, finish the rep, on the way back down, pause, and here. Typically what you're going to do is you're going to add a pause to basically the weakest part of your movement. So for the squat, a lot of the times you'll pause in the bottom of the rep. Deadlift, you may pause right by the knees. Bicep curls, you may pause right in the middle, right in the middle of the rep. Whatever is just very challenging for you, you typically can spend an extra 2 to 3 seconds at that movement, and it's a way of adding time under tension. It's a way of strengthening and adding stability where you're weak. And obviously, you don't need to add weight to make it more challenging. You add more reps, you add more time, whatever that is. So if that was helpful, and that can be for any movement, it was definitely helpful for my VIP clients. So if that's helpful to you, what I would really recommend you do is go to our page for our VIP program, check it out. What we've got is we've got a link to, you fill out a form, you tell us a little bit about you, and then we sit down for about 45 minutes, we go over your goals, and then see if our program is the right fit for you. If it is, we can start off on a 12-week program. We go over, we customize your training, we customize your nutrition, we get accountability structured in your life, in your week, make sure that you hit your goals and transform your body. And obviously, if you're coming back from rehab, maybe you had an injury, or maybe you're just not confident, you don't have the right technique, we have ways of working around and building strength when you're not strong. So I wish you the best of luck. Again, go to our page. I'm gonna put a link in either the description or the comments. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but have an awesome day.